Thank you for joining us on another enlightening episode on the Enlightened Misfits podcast. If you resonate with this conversation and found it insightful, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. Your feedback fuels our mission. Remember, your journey to unwavering certainty and purpose is ongoing. Stay connected with us on social media and let's continue this conversation. Let's manifest greatness in our lives. Until next time, this is Lauren from the Enlightened Misfits podcast. Stay enlightened, stay inspired, and keep manifesting your extraordinary path. Welcome back to the Enlightened Misfits podcast. I am your host, Lauren, and in today's episode, I have a very special guest. His name is Vinaya. He is a cosmic awareness catalyst, and I'm so excited to know about what this is and what you do. So welcome. We're so happy to have you here today with us.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Okay, so kind of tell us a little bit about like who you are, and I definitely want to know about this cosmic awareness catalyst.
Okay. For the fun part, when people ask me who am I say a weirdo. Because all my life I didn't fit like the Enlightened Misfits, right? I was always a misfit. And yeah, my story in brief is I grew up in Germany and tried really hard for 20 years to become a good German and fit into the story, which then I realized this is not happening.
Right.
This doesn't work for me. Yeah. So, and on top of that, there was something more to be discovered because I understood if like life is born, learn, work, death, that doesn't make any sense. That's like, why is this happening? So I went on the search to find out what is more to life. And that led me overland to India. When I was 21, I left. Finally decided I'm not a good German, that doesn't work. And there must be more to life than meets the eye. So I went to India, overland. It was still possible in these days. I was in the mid-70s. And had amazing adventures and also insights in, wait a minute, there is more variety in how to live than meets the German eye, because that's really like strict box. And then in Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and then India was like, wow, there's so many different ways of living. So then I tried to find out, then I went on the search of like, how would I like to live? And I found a master who brought my intention inside. Because obviously outside there's nothing really forever, so to speak, or nothing really fulfilling, period. It's temporary, it's just so obviously it must be somewhere else where I haven't looked then, and that was inside. So I started to learn about my programs and become free of them by just becoming aware of them, actually. It was relatively easy and very exciting. Very many adventures into myself and insights. Yeah, and then suddenly at one day it just clicked and I'm here. I'm me. And I'm the definite misfit because I really know that I don't fit anywhere, which on the flip side, funny enough, I can be anywhere. I'm just not identified with, and so I can be really with anybody and have no problem knowing that this is not my story and I'm just communicating and connecting with that person. And that is what I call freedom from myself. When you're suddenly free from this mindset, these programs we got when we were growing up, all of us. And yeah, and parallel to that, I was always a crystal freak. When I was 16, I saw some crystals and I go like, that's what I'm going to collect. And I was really into crystals for many, many years, just collecting and yeah, being a crystal freak. And then I met a person in Hawaii who showed me what crystals energetically do. And somewhat it clicked in me, and I go like, wait a minute, I know all that. And then I started working with crystals, energy rebalancing, and I was always like the misfit. I always had a different vision, and I always saw what's behind the story, which is on the surface of any given person in any given moment. And then suddenly it clicked. Oh, use crystals, not tarot cards, which I tried out, didn't work for me. Because I wanted to see if I can give insights to what is your gift, what is your path, how do you get into a life, create a life like mine, which is absolutely fantastic. It's just an amazing adventure, and there are no problems, and everything is just wow. And so I use crystals now to give people insight about their gifts, their path. How do I empower myself? How do I get rid of my programs? Through various methods, which are all different for any given person, because we are all different. We are all absolutely unique, and we have all a different story. And that is usually buried underneath the programs. You have to be like this, you have to do like that, you have da 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 da. You know what I'm saying, right? The beautiful programs. Sitting in the box. And yeah, and so like after 50 years, I'm still traveling. I'm a few years here, a few years there, to see where the wind blows me. Right. Because I have no clue what's going to happen tomorrow. So I'm just going to be present and see what's going to happen. And yeah, it's just a fantastic journey. And after doing all these things for so long, really what's left for me is the passion of helping others, seeing the glow in their eyes when they're like, right, I remember. Oh yeah, that feels right. Ah yeah, I can resonate. You know, seeing them lighting up and getting out of their misery is just the most wonderful thing for me at 71 years of age in this part of my life, and probably going to be for the rest of my life, because that is just amazing. Sharing the beauty of presence and helping people how to get there.
Yeah. So I love all the things that you said. There's two things that I wanted to kind of like shine light on is, for one, you're 71 years old and you look amazing. So if people are watching this on YouTube, when he said 71, I was like, is that his age? Like, is that what he's saying? So, and then the other thing is when you said, remember who we are. And I feel like I love that you said that, because I feel like a lot of people that I talk to, especially when, you know, it's this like paradigm of ego, like especially in some spiritual work, it's like ego and control and the programs and all the things. And I often, you know, I meet people that potentially could have an opportunity that they were, you know, their pain and their trauma was used against them to kind of get them to continue paying them or whatever. And I always, I actually think I've said that a lot lately, is I don't need to tell you who you are. I'm going to show you how to remember who you are.
Yes.
And I feel like you saying that, I was like, okay, so it's not just me. Like I asked myself, are there people out there that are telling people who they need to be instead of showing them who they actually are, or like helping them with a tool or whatever tool that is to remember who they are? And I realized you just saying that was confirmation that no, there is people that literally will act a certain way to kind of get, oh, this is who you are. And it's like, no, that doesn't even feel right. Like you just know. It's like, no.
Yeah.
So I like that you had said that too, because I feel like that is confirmation for whoever's listening to this, when you're listening to this, that you don't need to be told who you are. You just have to have a guide or somebody to help you remember who you are.
Remember, yes. And it's also like, that's really like a nice ego trip. Who would I think I am to tell you who you are if I don't even know myself who I am?
Right.
Right?
Yes, that's a huge thing, like a huge ego. It's like, I can show you this. And I'm like, I can't even show myself that. So how can you do that? So I think it's really interesting. When I see people's content or when they talk or when they have, like when they share stuff, I'm like, all I see is like, oh God, look at that big ego or that fragile ego. Or it's like, I'm just kind of observing, but I'm just like, I've been on both sides of it. Like I've been on the side that my mother wound was used against me, and I've paid thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that left me feeling like, oh shit, this sucks. Like, what do I do now? It's like, where do I go? So it's like, okay, I just kind of was like, spirit was like, you're going to do it yourself. You're going to do this. But then it kind of gave me like discernment when I were to hire, if I was going to hire another mentor, another coach, somebody that I know that if it doesn't feel right, I immediately say no. I'm like, no, because it's just like, I know we all need mentors, like all of us.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows what we're doing. I always tell people, they're like, you make it look so easy. I'm like, trust me, I have no idea what I'm doing. Trust me, I don't. I might know a little bit, but I still don't know a lot. It's just a little bit of the things, my experience. But no, I don't, when people are like, you're an expert at human design, you're this, you're that. And I was like, but I'm not. It's just I've self-taught myself, and that's how I just teach other people what I know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that I know everything. I'm the guru of human design, because I'm not. Like, it's just not, I do know a lot about human design and trauma healing, but it's just like, I just use whatever I know and I give it to the next person, and, and help so they can kind of do the same thing collectively. That's how we all feel, right?
Yeah. And this is all what you say is important, and it really also reflects on the 3D world, like learning something and becoming knowledgeable about what.
Right.
Where I am really focusing on is how do you can step into yourself and always find out what is right for you or not. And we all have different stories. You mentioned trauma. Yes, some people first need to release the trauma before they can further themselves into being themselves, because there was so much, I like to call it shit, put on them.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, what it is.
And so releasing that and becoming aware of that are mostly the first steps. What is really important to understand is that we do know. Everybody knows where their passion lies, where their heart lies, where their goal, so to speak, lies, why they're here, what they want to do here and experience. Unfortunately, we all got put down. Like Krishnamurti one time said, I heard him say, nature is busy creating only unique beings, and we try to put ourselves in a box. Isn't that a little bit ridiculous?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just an amazing journey to find out or remember who I really am, and also to learn to distinguish between the power of or the knowledge or the wisdom of my heart and my intuition, which is always right,
Always.
and the talking of the brain, which is always wrong. Except you want to repair a car, then it's probably right. But about my life past, my gifts, energetics and all of that, the brain has no clue. It only works out of the past. And if I've never done a meditation or went to Spain or did this job or what, the brain has no clue, because it has never been there. But my heart knows. my being knows. And to connect with that and be alert and aware of that tiny little voice, which is really quick.
Right.
And followed quickly by the brain, arguing about it. So trusting that and following that and listening to that, I found is the most beneficial way of really finding out, what do I want? How do I want to do this? How do I want to respond, not react? How can I be in the present? And that's easy. It's just a matter of remembering. Oh, wait a minute. Instead of like blah, 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 hang on a second, let me feel into it. What do I want to say? How do I want to communicate? How do I want to respond? Learning that and having the courage to be wrong in the eyes of other people. Because we usually are, because we are all different. So what is right for me is not necessarily right for you. So you think I'm wrong. Yeah, I know you can, I hear you, and feels right for me.
Yeah. That's actually some really amazing advice. And especially for, there's a lot of shifts going on with like partnerships, relationships. And it's like, I've some of my clients, even in my own relationship, I've often cultivated the same thing that you just said. I just thought to myself, how about if I just said, if I'm called wrong, or this is not right, or you're not doing this right, okay, that's fine. Okay. Like, and just okay. And it's like, I came from the spectrum of, oh, I'm going to prove my point and I'm going to say exactly how I feel. But then I'm like, at the end of all of that, I'm like, I feel exhausted. And now I feel like I don't even have my power anymore, because I literally just gave out my power, to make myself feel like I need to be right. And it's like, now it's like, I'm okay with people telling me I'm wrong. I'm okay with saying, because exactly what you just said, that maybe you are wrong. Like maybe it is not right for them. Maybe it's, it's just a different perspective.
Yeah.
And, that's why I love human design so much, because especially like I'm a projector and my husband's a projector. So we're completely looking at things from a totally different thing. So I know, I'm like, well, you're talking about oranges, I'm talking about apples. It's just, it is what it is. We have to agree to disagree. Like that's just what it is. We're seeing things differently. And it's like, we can agree to disagree. Like that's simply what it is. And it's helped us so much, because it's like me not trying to prove myself, him not trying to prove himself to me, all this stuff. And I feel like in a relationship, you keep your power, and it's so peaceful.
Hey there, I just wanted to take a quick moment to share with all of you spiritual rebels and fempreneurs. If you've been craving a space where you can build wealth, heal trauma, and rise alongside like-minded women, I got something for you to hear about. I'm excited to invite you into the Enlightened Misfits Sisterhood. This is a low-cost, high-impact group membership designed exclusively for spiritual fempreneurs who know they need accountability and support to create sustainable wealth, but aren't ready to dive into a one-on-one mentorship. In this membership, you'll get monthly calls, rituals, healing sessions, and workshops to break through your self-doubt and build confidence so that you can consistently sell your offers and make money. This is also a collaborative private Facebook community where you make lifelong connections with other women who are just as serious as hitting their goals. And my personal guidance as your intuitive human design business guide and trauma healer, ensuring you stay aligned and on track with your business goals. Plus, you'll get free access to all my paid workshops and masterclasses, along with exclusive VIP pricing for my one-on-one Voxer membership. This membership is all about helping you heal the sabotaging behaviors blocking your abundance and using your human design to create a business that feels amazing to run. Imagine waking up excited to serve your clients and knowing that you have the exact support you need to hit every single one of your business goals every single month. So if you're ready to rise and build wealth with a sisterhood of spiritual misfits, make sure you click the registration link in the description box. Right now, the investment is just $88 a month, but the price will increase to $197 a month. Join today to unlock exclusive rates and get access to next month's kickoff call. Let's get back to today's episode, but remember, your next level is just one decision away. Join the sisterhood and let's rise together.
It's amazing. Yes. Yeah. Like what comes to mind with this different point of views.
Yeah.
Visualize the number 6 on the floor.
Okay.
And one person is standing on the right side of it, and one person is standing on the left side of it. For the one on the right, it's number 9. For the one on the left, it's number 6. It all depends from our point of view, where we are at. Yeah, and both of them are right from their point of view.
Right.
And when I accept myself as flawed or beautiful, whatever, the way I am, then suddenly I can accept everybody else too. And then we can live together in harmony, even though that's for you it's a 6 and for me it's a 9. Cool. Good joke. Come to, and then we can play together and we can be together instead of like, I want to be right.
Yes.
I
was going to say, it creates so much conflict and so much resistance in relationships. I mean, I've been in
everyday life.
Yeah. I mean, and if it's like you always have to be right, then it's just like I see, and I mean, because I've been on both spectrums of this, like not caring to caring, and it's just like, it's more peaceful and less of my own personal energy that I'm like, this is, I mean, you can Google, you can fact check me, whatever. Okay. I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying this is what I believe to be true. And unless I look at it differently or have a different perspective on it, it just, it comes with like learning and stuff like that. And I do love your explanation of like the 6 and the 9, because it's true. We all have different perspectives on things. So it's like, if you're just open-minded to like, oh, you're right, and you actually physically do the whole exercise of the 6 and 9, I feel like people will be like, wow. And just like remembering that when you want to say something, when you know that you're right and the other person's wrong, don't say anything. And I'm telling you, like, I tried that.
But the other person is not wrong.
Right.
The other person just has a different way of looking at things. It's neither right or wrong. I'm not right. Well, I am in alignment with myself.
Okay.
Am I right in the picture of the universe? I don't know. But right now that feels the way it is, and that feels right. And that's the way I'm going to be. Whatever I'm doing,
right.
I just follow that. And it's just a different way of beingness. And we are all unique. We are all unique. And one thing is really important, I think, which came the last few years in readings more and more, where many people don't think they're perfect. I need to learn something, I need to grow, I need to better myself, blah, 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 all these ideas. And the understanding might be helpful that same thing, that is my idea, what I think, what perfection is, and then I tell you, you're not perfect because you're not blah, blah, blah. But when I look at the universe, nature, everything fits together and is perfect. There is nothing imperfect created in the universe. It's all perfect. So why would you think you're the only thing in existence who is not perfect?
Right. That's actually a really good question to ask yourself.
No,
Yeah.
you might not think I'm perfect, but the universe does. So who
Right.
is the bigger authority, you or the universe?
Right. Well, depending on who you ask, some people would be like, me. No. No.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the
but
universe.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like really feeling that, embodying that, yes, I am perfect. Not in my mother's eyes or my father's eyes, not in my priest's eyes, not in my society's eyes, but in the eyes of the universe, because it created me this way. And there's nothing imperfect in the universe. So really feeling that, first understanding and then feeling that, gives one also an enormous amount of freedom, because then you're perfect. And wow, yes, I can just enjoy life. There's
Right.
nothing to achieve. There's nothing to become.
Right.
And funny enough, when I'm in that space, then I become something else. It's a little bit crazy, but yeah, you hear what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of before we kind of wrap up, I wanted to have you explain a little bit about, I kind of went off on a tangent somewhere, probably in the conversation, like I normally do. But when you said you use crystals
Yeah.
to help your clients with transformations, like as a tool, like
Yeah.
how do you go about that? What do you like? What is your process? Like, how do you go about? I think it's there. I use crystals just for like different stuff, but I've actually never really thought about it to actually use as like a. I guess I just answered my own question. I do use it for healing, or like if I'm doing some type of ritual or something like that. But I'm curious to know your process that you use.
Okay, so like the process for the reading itself, why I
Okay.
use crystals is because tarot cards didn't work for me
Okay.
and crystal balls didn't work for me. I remember the witches,
Yeah.
but no, nothing. And then suddenly it came, use crystals, an array of crystals. And my method is that I have a little exercise where I first ask you permission to connect with you energetically. Then I, Vinaya, steps aside and you talk through my mouth. And you select a crystal. I take the crystal in my hand and I start talking. Honestly, don't ask me how I'm doing it and why it works. I just know for 30 years it works. It's always like,
Wow.
wow, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then something gets said, something from your higher self. I think that I'm channeling your higher self, or I'm a medium for your true being, who has a different overview of the story, not this,
Logical.
narrow mindset we're coming here with to play with.
Yeah.
And then what comes out is, what are the next step? What are your gifts? How do I get there? Why am I here? It's so different also. And often it's just a confirmation where people go like, whoa, yeah, right. So I start talking, something comes out, what needs to be said, boom, give me another crystal. And then until I get the message, it's done. And then you can ask questions, like, for example, if you have a decision to make, this job, this house, this country, whatever, we look at the energetic outcomes of each of these choices, so you have a better way of making an informed choice. Yeah, oh, this is very constrictive, this is very expansive, well, what would you choose?
Right.
But then then you are clear about it, and then you can make a informed decision. That's basically how I do readings. And when I do coaching, it starts with a reading, and then we probably have a meditation or an exercise or an awareness exercise or whatnot. And then we connect again halfway through the week. Then next week we do the same thing. So like really pushing you faster on your path to freedom. Because once we are like really more aware and free of our programs, life is fantastic.
I definitely can resonate with
Even
that.
yeah, it's just amazing. So helping people getting there through the crystals and how that actually really works rationally, I have no clue. My mind often comes in and goes like, you can't say that. Are you crazy? Like this thought comes there like while I'm talking, right?
Yeah.
It's always true. And the mind cannot understand how it works. So I dropped at one point to try to understand what am I actually doing and how am I doing it or how is it happening. I just know it works. And yeah, but maybe that gave you a little bit of an insight how it works. I step aside and then I let you speak through me with the help of crystals. What they do is...
However it happens. Yeah, no, I'm just curious, and I know the listeners will be curious too, because I know a lot of people, the audience is got like they're into crystals too, and I just think that is like this tool that you use. I've never, and in my entire existence here, have heard about this, like anybody doing this. So it's definitely, it's definitely obviously your gift, and I do appreciate you taking the time to explain that, because I feel like, of course, people will, anybody listening, if you would like to have a reading with him, he was very gracious for us, and he dropped a Zoom link that he does. Is it, do you do this weekly, or do you do
I did that weekly in the past, and for some reason I fell off it, and then I felt, that would be a great gift for your listeners, and I would talk a little bit about meditation, and we will have a little exercise, and because I don't call it meditation anymore, I call it exercises, because it's fake it till you make it kind of thing in my book. And then if the person who is on the call has a question, I will give a short reading and see what the person can understand about that or learn about that or how to proceed. Like how do I get a better relationship with my mother? Then I will check into that and give you an answer. And then don't listen to me. Feel into it and try it out.
I feel like I'm on the same wavelength with you. I'm like, here is what I suggest. Now, you do whatever you want to do, but this is what I suggest. Take it or leave it. This is just, I'm answering your question, and you could do it or not.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm like, you don't have to do it. I'm just saying, I'm physically, logically answering your question, right? So, yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So I have, and anybody that wants to get on this call, now, will this be your only call, or are you going to be doing this more frequently?
I will do this more frequently, and I will, the platform I used before was Facebook.
Okay.
And I have a group there which is called Your Path to Freedom. And I'm planning to do that now once a week, where I called it in the past silent conversation, where we just sit in presence, be present, and then if there's something coming up, what you need to know, you ask. And then, or if you don't have a question, but you want to know where you're at, or that's a question actually, or just want to get an insight into the now, that is also possible. And
I'm definitely going to be joining you. I have your link, so I'm gonna be joining you there.
Yeah, it's a Facebook group. I can send you the link of the Facebook group.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll make sure I have all your links, so they'll be in the description box, but I'll also make sure I add the Facebook group, that if people listening want to join that Facebook group too. And I'll let them know that make sure you tell him where you came from, the Enlightened Misfits podcast interview, so they know where they met you from.
Right. And on Saturday, I think it's on the 22nd, right, where we have this getting together. Just go on the Zoom link, and then we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, fun. You always have to have fun, right?
What else is there to do? Why would I be?
Yeah, right. Yeah, have some fun. Well, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode on the Enlightened Misfits podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with somebody that you feel that will gain knowledge from listening. So stay tuned for more captivating conversations in the future. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you next time.
Thank you for joining us on another enlightening episode on the Enlightened Misfits podcast. If you are a current or inspiring to be fempreneur, suffering from the fear of being seen and or feel very triggered when you're building your business, reach out to me at The Mermaid Light about my Rich and Resilient Biz Baddies. This is a collective text message Voxer support group designed to help you heal your triggers and turn imposter syndrome into bad bitch energy. If you resonate with our conversations and insight, don't forget to subscribe, rate the show, and leave a review. Your feedback fuels our mission. Remember, your journey to unwavering certainty and purpose is ongoing. So please make sure you stay connected with us on social media. Keep manifesting greatness in your life. Until next time, this is Lauren from the Enlightened Misfits podcast. Stay enlightened, stay inspired, and keep manifesting your extraordinary path.